Reggae Just Extra with Ras Dennis.
Emerging from their West London squat during the racially charged late 70s, they battled inequality and injustice through their powerful progressive protest music. They went on to record one of the greatest live albums of all time, enjoy the patronage of John Peel and Pete Townsend, and become the first British reggae group to play in Russia before relocating to a farm in Zimbabwe. All while they endured trauma and tragedy whose scars can still be felt to this day. This, then, is the remarkable story of Misty-In-Roots. My name is Ras Dennis, and you are welcome back to another video by Reggae Just Extra.
You are now watching Reggae Just Extra's Misty-In-Roots edition.
Misty-In-Roots, a British reggae band, known for using reggae music to combat injustice and inequality in the mid-70s and beyond. In this episode, we will take a closer look at the band and the sad event that led to the arrest and charging of 345 people, including members of the band, in England. Kindly stay tuned and do remember to subscribe to this channel, like, share, and most importantly hit the notification bell to be the first to watch our next video.
Holy man with I Selassie jump.
Through each of its incarnations, the message of Misty-In-Roots remains consistent, laying down the Rasta ideology and spirit on a bedrock of solid, melodic bass, gospel-tinged keyboards, and triumphant horns. Stern and unyielding in their beliefs, Misty hurled down their messages from the mountaintops, wailing for the oppressed, critiquing and warning Babylon's materialistic system, always anticipating the change that must come and asking how long, Jah Jah. Misty-In-Roots was formed in 1970s in Southall, London by the three Tyson brothers, including Duxie Tyson, who died in a swimming accident, as the backup band for Jamaica-born vocalist Nicky Thomas. Leaving Thomas in 1978, the group established itself as one of England's best young live acts. The band began to develop their own orthodox roots reggae sound. Their powerful lyrics, inspired by the economic decline in England, a growing awareness of their African culture, and a spiritual awakening, was laid out on the band's stunning debut album Life at the Counter Eurovision, which is cited as one of the greatest live reggae albums ever. Initially rooted in Jamaican reggae with the teens jamming, learning calypso and mento from the older West Indian musicians in the area's Pan-Caribbean mix, back then, Southall wasn't as specifically Asian as it is now in England. Walford Tyson's peers were the first kids from the old colonies to integrate the local schools, enduring all the schoolyard testing that implies. But as the complexion of the area began to change, the new arrivals from the former colonies created their own culture, in which school dances, youth clubs, and Caribbean carnival festivities brought musicians together. The music thing was so free in Southall. We young musicians got together as Misty, and then we wanted to help the younger ones, said Walford Poco Tyson. At breaking point, racism roaming the streets, and unemployment soaring, a new musical alliance was born. Young white youths, totally fed up with the status quo, turned to playing punk music and simultaneously strongly identified with the British reggae acts as Misty-In-Roots, Steel Pulse, Matumbi, and Aswad. With the coming of the Rock Against Racism movement, the musical fightback had begun with black and white musicians playing on the same platform to bring about a totally new concept and musical awareness. Talking about Rock Against Racism movement, fatefully, Misty-In-Roots lived just outside the police cordon and a squat at 6 Parkview Road. The house was also the base for their community organization and record label, as well as providing a rehearsal space for around 40 local musicians. On April 23, 1979, however, it became the place where a community came together to defend itself. There were police horses everywhere, Walford Poco Tyson recalls, with palpable emotion in his voice. Special patrol group in riot gear. There was no way to get out, so everyone came inside, the organizations, the politicians, Indians, local lawyers, everybody. Then police let all the politicians out, then all the white people, then the Indians. Then they went inside and beat up all the black people. It was a free-for-all. They smashed up all our equipment, destroyed all our records, and beat everybody up. The events at 6 Parkview Road were the culmination of a long day of violence. Earlier, the National Front had held a demonstration in the center of Southall, one of the most racially diverse areas in London. A petition to stop the meeting had received 10,000 signatures, but was unsuccessful, so 2,750 police officers had been deployed to protect the far-right party's right to assembly, in the face of around 3,000 community and anti-Nazi League protesters. In the ensuing clashes, 345 people were arrested and charged. 33-year-old special needs teacher Blair Peach was struck on the head and later died in hospital. Also, Misty-In-Roots manager Clarence Baker was truncheoned, suffered a fractured skull, spent 5 months in a coma, and was lucky to survive. Co-manager Chris Bolton, a white man, was also beaten. As the Daily Telegraph later reported, nearly every demonstrator had blood flowing from some sort of injury. Evidently, the events in Southall had a huge impact on Misty-In-Roots. As well as the injuries sustained by their managers, organist-player Vernon Hunt, a mild-mannered Guyanan who Walford Poco Tyson insists wouldn't hurt a fly, was jailed for 6 months. He was so broken by his experiences he never rejoined the band. Other members spent 2 years fighting what Poco insists were trumped-up charges. It destroyed the group, he sighs. Their home was gone, too. The punk band The Ruts, who were partners of and had their debut single released by the People Unite Cooperative, honored Misty-In-Roots manager Clarence Baker in their song Ja War, which was released as a single and on their album The Cracked the same year. Following their debut, Misty-In-Roots released 4 studio albums through the 1980s. The band had 2 BBC Radio 1 and concert appearances in 1983 and 1985. They were invited to play in Zimbabwe in 1982 in recognition of their support for the independence movement, and were the first reggae band to tour South Africa, Poland, and Russia. In the same year, 1982, the group spent 9 months in Zambia. 5 years later, they spent an extended period in West Africa. Their concern for the environment has been an ongoing inspiration. In 1983, Misty-In-Roots performed the soundtrack for Earth, a musical documentary examining the effect humans have had on the planet. 1989 saw their last album from this period, Forward, followed by a few years of inactivity. Around the turn of the century, the band reformed and started playing live shows again. After a break from recording in the next decade, the band returned with a new mini-album Roots Controller in 2002 and continued to play concerts as of 2014. Sadly, co-founder Delbert McKay died on October 1, 2021 at the age of 67. Misty-In-Roots continued speaking out about injustice, ignorance, and greed. The group will have their first London show in 5 years at the London International Ska Festival's brand new 2-day Easter Gala, Totally Together, on Saturday, March 30th, 2024 at Camden Town's legendary Electric Ballroom. Thanks for watching, and do remember to subscribe, give it a like, and post a positive comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you again very soon for another video.
Many thanks for watching Reggae Gist Extra with Ras Dennis.